Hello students, welcome to Laex Excellence. Welcome to the 32nd weekly magazine where we'll be focusing from 1st October to 7th October 2017. And before we see what are the important areas in this particular magazine, I just want to tell you that as I have promised, we will be releasing NCERT videos, especially for geography. Initially, we thought of giving only the recorded slides rather than proper explanation with face that we used to do for geography with maps. Now, we have actually recorded the face video, along with it you have the screen, and we have tried to bring in certain pictures to just ensure that there is some conceptual clarity for the students. Initially, we had plans to only stick to NCERT books, but now we are ensuring that at least some 10 to 15 hours of basic geography is explained first, so that students have some clarity over certain concepts. Most of the students feel they know the concepts, but whenever we try to apply it through NCERT books or so, they are not in a position to understand it better. So because of this, we are adding some more basic lectures, and along with this, we are taking up NCERT books so that whenever you read this particular topic for 30 to 40 hours, that is entire NCERT books of geography, you will be able to cover at least 80 to 90% of NCERT or 90% of geography prelims and mains syllabus. So through NCERT books, we are trying to cover geography as much as possible. Wherever additional information is required and it is not present in NCERT books, we are spending time there as well. Once this series is completed, within next week, we will be launching it at any cost. My only suggestion to most of the students who have requested us for the NCERT links is 1 month, please give your valuable time for geography revision. Or if you have not yet started, please start with this. Second important thing, every day you are expected to give 1 hour for going through the lectures. And if you have 2 hours, within 1 month you can revise twice and finish geography, and you can read it only before prelims. So that is the way we have tried to ensure. And initially we will be launching it for our students and some 50 to 60 students who have enrolled with us. For other students, we have got some 300 requests from the students, but we will be giving to 60 students in the initially, so that within 10-15 days we'll come to know if there is any issues, and once those issues are cleared, we will be leaving it to open market. The reason for this is we don't want students to pay and then they feel that okay, this is not proper, this concept is not clear. Whenever we come up with new product, what we try to do is first try to stick to ourselves, so that if there is any mistakes and if students require any additional videos, those are available, rather than giving you few lectures and you feel I need more concepts and this is not enough. Even if that feeling comes up, then you gradually lose interest in the subject as well. To avoid all these things, we will be sending you the messages, the groups which we have formed for whom we will be willing to provide these lectures, so that based on your suggestion, within a specific time period, we will be making the specific videos which you request, and all this will be made available to students at large. Right? So guys, after this, let's quickly look into what exactly are we seeing with the 32nd magazine. On the birth anniversary of Gandhiji, we have tried to give one of his basic things which was asked in ethics and is also important for any individual to adopt in life. That is Gandhiji's principle of 7 sins, where he says, knowledge without character is a sin. In UPSC terms, we try to say that knowledge without integrity is dangerous, right? You can see many scamsters who have good knowledge, IAS officers who are corrupt, who have the ability, aptitude, everything, but what they lack is ethics and integrity, right? Try to bring out different aspects, give examples how exactly it has affected the world, how communist countries have failed because of bad dictators in those countries, how exactly democracies have been ruined because of bad leaders coming to power. All this is important for us, right? So just go through that carefully and try to write an essay in all perspectives. You might be aware that along with Mahatma Gandhi ji, we have Lal Bahadur Shastri also to be remembered on the same day. And when we talk about this great personality who has selflessly worked for this country, where he went to the extent of fasting for a day, for a meal in a particular day, especially Mondays afternoon, he used to say to people, please fast. And in Bangalore and some other places, even today on Mondays, they usually try to fast or they don't serve. The meaning of this is, these were the people who understood that leadership plays a very significant role. People actually behave the way their leaders are. And they became role models. They themselves followed the principles. He understood that if at all we have to provide jobs to our unskilled population, then it has to be through agriculture and other means. He was the one who was there when food security was at its peak. Today the inflation levels that we speak is nothing when it comes to the inflation which was there during that time. At that point of time, they believed in green revolution, white revolution, how to ensure that we will be self-dependent on ourselves. Today, whatever the government's price for their work of increasing the agricultural things, it is mainly associated with this particular individual who also thought that if our country has to economically progress, it has to be rational and scientific. And he also ensured that if good governance comes in, where integrity is the core to the civil servants, then this country would be moving ahead with lot of ability. He believed that the Indians have the capacity, but what they need is some support from the government. So Lal Bahadur Shastri and some of his basic works with respect to agriculture is presented here. Just try to go through this whenever you write any essay about any topics, apart from writing only about Gandhi ji, Vivekananda, Subhash Chandra Bose and others. We would request you to write about Lal Bahadur Shastri's statements as well, right? So once you're clear with respect to these, let's quickly move to the next topic. The next issue is important from geography point of view, especially transportation point of view. I try to put it under economic geography because this helps in both economy and geography. And this is with respect to national waterways. When we are actually talking about waterways, India, even though it has lot of perennial rivers, especially in the northern plains of India, unfortunately we have not been able to utilize it better. If you take countries like Europe, where Rhine River, Danube and others have not only connected rivers and transportation within a specific country, but it has also helped connecting one country with another country, and also at the end it helps in connecting with the major sea closer as well. This is a clear indication that whenever we talk about waterways, they are very crucial for transportation. And if you take North America, St. Lawrence Waterway along with the 5 Great Lakes has actually brought industrial revolution closer to the areas far off from actually the iron ore and coal, but closer to water sources and also industries. So waterways is one sort which has changed the industrial location of the people. Initially this location was closer to raw materials, but now it is far off from these places. India is unfortunately unable to provide waterways better. There are several reasons for this, but what is more important is today the present government is understanding the significance of this. Before we had three major national waterways where some amount of transportation was seen. The first national waterway is actually in between Allahabad to Haldia, that is UP to West Bengal, and the second waterway is actually on Brahmaputra river. Once the Brahmaputra river enters into Assam plains, Sadia to Dhubri, where it actually enters into Bangladesh, and then you have Kollam to Kottapuram, the backwaters of Kerala. Now they have planned for the fourth national waterway between Krishna and Godavari. There is a fifth waterway which they are planning on Brahmani and Baitarni in Odisha. Sixth waterway is on Barak river. So still the names are not yet clear. Different books try to give you different things. The proposal is there from long. Now actually the dredging is taking place. What is the meaning of dredging? Dredging actually means you try to remove siltation wherever it is there. That is, if river deposits are there, you try to remove it. So the water capacity or water in the valley will be more and boats can move easily. Second important thing is, for boats to travel throughout its course, it requires same width and depth. What I mean to say is, you must require same width and depth throughout. If you don't have the same width and depth, then the biggest problem is they may get stuck anywhere. And whenever water level reduces, you should have some bridges constructed in such a way that it maintains water level throughout. So all these factors needs to be considered whenever we are talking about waterways. So you cannot have waterways in plateaus like Maharashtra, Karnataka, but once the rivers enters into Krishna, Godavari deltas and also Mahanadi delta, then it would be easy for us to understand this. I hope it's clear. National Waterway 4, at first phase of this is not complete. They are planning to connect Krishna, Godavari as well, but it is only 80 kilometers stretch between Muktyala and Vijayawada of Krishna river. India is also planning to go for dredging in Bangladesh, where we are trying to help Bangladesh to remove the siltation and other things. India is spending almost around 350 to 400 crores to ensure that the Ganga river which is entering into Bangladesh and also the Brahmaputra river which is entering into Bangladesh meet to form Meghana. And if Bangladesh permits us, we can actually try to connect Ganga and Brahmaputra, so we can connect UP to Assam, or we can also try to connect with Arunachal Pradesh. This is India's plan. If we have to study with respect to Inland Waterway 4, the Inland Waterway was declared National Waterway 4 in November 2008 itself. The National Waterway 4 will be developed in three phases. The first phase is from Muktyala to Vijayawada. This would be followed by the second phase from Vijayawada to Kakinada and Rajahmundry to Polavaram on the Godavari river. I told you Krishna Godavari will be connected. The third phase will connect Komamur Canal, Buckingham Canal and the balance stretches of river Krishna and Godavari. You need not remember the phases. If you can understand that National Waterway 4 is on Krishna Godavari, especially on the coastal Andhra Pradesh, it would be enough. Next important issue is with respect to Gujarat elections, where we are actually seeing VVPAT, that is voter verifiable paper audit trail. What is the meaning of this? Usually you're all aware that earlier we had a ballot system where people used to go and actually put a seal that they have voted to a particular person, and this was actually counted. Later, India moved to EVMs because ballot counting was very difficult and there was a possibility of rigging or sometimes booth capturing used to take place. So to avoid all this, we went to EVMs. EVMs was much more secure. But recently, certain political parties have raised their concerns that it is manipulated and it is giving all the votes only to BJP. There are certain instances where one or two EVMs did not function properly, but you cannot blame entire system because wherever it didn't function properly and as soon as the election commission knew about it, it has taken necessary measures and conducted re-elections in those regions. Now when we talk about VVPAT which is going to come, it's like the receipt that you usually get whenever you pay your card. Whenever you pay amount through card, you can see that a receipt will be generated. Similarly here, whenever you vote, a paper sheet will come which actually shows to which political party you have voted, right? So that you can cross verify. So if you press Aam Aadmi Party and if it goes to BJP, you can go and say that, see, I pressed to this and this is violation. This will actually help for different political parties to ensure that our democracy is secure. If at any point of time, any political party has doubt with respect to our electoral process, it's always better for them to suggest certain measures, mainly because it is not fair on our parts to ensure that there are certain political parties which does not trust our system and even their followers will not trust our system. Then the entire system will collapse over a period of time because all losers will keep on saying that there is some problem with the EVMs. So this needs to be avoided at any cost. So for that purpose, we are going back to paper, but it is not a ballot system where you will be getting some printouts which says that to which political party you have actually voted, right? So this is all about the EVMs. Then with respect to international relations, you have something called as Iran's nuclear deal. What exactly is Iran's nuclear deal and what are the important things that we have to understand with respect to this? I just want to give you certain informations with respect to Iran before I explain this, right? Iran is a country which is Shia dominant and is considered to be leader of Shias in the world. Initially, it was pro-United States. There was a ruler by name Shah who was very close to United States of America, and the culture of Iran was very much westernized. But Iranians didn't like it over a period of time, and this led to Iranian revolution where Sharia law was brought, or I would say Islam was a major religion which was brought in, and they controlled fundamentalists or religious leaders. They controlled Iran. At that point of time, they hated United States of America, and it is believed that US citizens were captured and killed in Iran, and this led to Iran becoming an anti-US country. Iran was also supporter of Syria, which was also a Shia country, and Syria in turn always supported Hamas and Palestine against Israel. So Israel didn't like Syria and Israel didn't like Iran as well. When it comes to Saudi Arabia is a leader of Sunnis in the world and they didn't like Iran always. So you had United States, you had Israel and you had Saudi Arabia which did not like Iran much. Iran, realizing the potential of nuclear powers, many people say that it is Pakistan which has given certain technologies to Iran, but considering Iran's own facilities and the technologies it has, when we actually look at it, Iran is trying to build its own nuclear weapon. The world community came to know Israel was very aggressive and it also has released certain viruses to ensure that there will be triggering within Iran so that there can be a blast in Iran. And there were some other people, especially Saudi Arabia, who pressurized US and European Union countries to ensure that Iran does not develop nuclear weapon. Because if Iran develops nuclear weapon, it will have undue advantage over Israel and also Saudi Arabia, especially Saudi Arabia, which is not a nuclear weapon country. Obama, along with the P5 countries and Germany, he had a peace agreement with Iran and ensured that Iran will give up its nuclear weapons ambition, but Iran can develop nuclear energy for peaceful purposes. It can use ballistic missiles and others, but nuclear weapons were prohibited. In return, United States promised that there won't be any economic sanctions against Iran. Israel and Saudi Arabia was not very happy with respect to this. Now, what Israel and Saudi Arabia did, they pressurized Trump government to disregard the particular treaty. Even in United States, there are certain political groups who do not like agreement with Iran. All this led to Trump talking about cancelling the agreement with Iran. When this magazine was released, we had an information that Iran nuclear agreement may be cancelled at any point of time and there may be economic sanctions against them. But European Union countries have actually said that they are not willing to leave this particular agreement because this was done for the peace of the world and that has to be ensured. Again, United States has pressurized Trump government not to disregard it and continue and have peace talks and change anything that is required rather than cancelling it and going for some sort of economic sanctions against Iran, right? So this is very, very important for us. The next important thing we have to see is the role of states in Indian diplomacy. You know that diplomacy is actually central government responsibility, but India has also ensured that with Modi government coming to power, it is not only the central government, even state governments has significant role. Earlier UPA government also used to allow, but the NDA government is allowing the states to go full-fledged and to have good relations with the other countries. Andhra Pradesh government having some agreements with Singapore, Tamil Nadu being made part of the fishermen issue of Sri Lanka, West Bengal being part of the Teesta discussion. Even though Tamil Nadu government and West Bengal government is not happy with the discussions, but making them part will try to help the problems. And recently, the ruler of Sharjah is visiting to Kerala, where he will be dealing specifically with them to ensure that the relations with India will be established through Kerala. And this is a trend in US and other countries. India also wants to adopt it and India is also moving towards it. Significant achievements are not yet seen, but over a period of time we may ensure this. But we have to be careful that this does not lead to different political groups like Congress going closer to China and UP going closer to United States of America. That is BJP, wherever it is there, if it goes closer to United States of America, and wherever you have Congress, if it goes closer to Pakistan or China, then this would have severe impact. So that has to be taken care of only till business relations and some issues which are crucial to the states have to be taken up. The debate continues with respect to simultaneous elections, where certain political parties have said that we are not happy with the simultaneous elections because what if there is midterm polls? If there is midterm polls, then the government may say that we need simultaneous elections and may impose presidential rule. At that point of time, it will be indirectly controlled by the state government or central government itself. Second important problem with this is, what if there is a combined election of both central government and state government, at that point of time, usually only the central government issues will be highlighted, not the state government issues. If you have multiple elections, that is central government different election and state government different elections, even the local issues can be highlighted and small political parties will also have its role. Else people, they have a tendency that if they vote for a particular political party in the central government, they vote for the same political party in the state governments, and this may lead to two-party system in future. This is the fear that the opposition have. Then you might have heard of Mumbai Stampede. It is very, very important for us to understand a simple concept here. This is not only about improving the efficiency of railways, but also trying to ensure that there is significant increase in the mass rapid transport system that is required. The reason for this is, when we look at the lower middle class and poor people, they usually travel in this mass rapid transport system, and if they are not secure, there is high possibility that huge deaths may usually take place. And sometimes we see such huge thing and we just neglect it in the name of infrastructure, but don't try to read it under disaster management. This is also a most important thing in India. You take temples, you take wherever huge population comes together to celebrate anything, there is a possibility that this would lead to stampede and even other things like theft and all. The reason for this is, it's not arranged properly. The people are not aware of how exactly they have to behave when there is panic. When you don't train the people, when you don't conduct mass drills, when you don't give clear information to them about the exits, whenever there is panic, when you don't try to address it at that point of time, then all these issues will come up. India is a country where in urban areas, huge population movement takes place. With suburbanization increasing, where people move from one part to another part because of rents and because of other issues like schools, their peer groups where they are present, urban people need safe transport system. And when we actually look, or whenever we showcase our country, especially railways, which we will be seeing later also, where there are several articles which criticize about bullet train, and these incidents are enough to criticize it. We need to understand that yes, there is a need for mass rapid transport technologies, but at the same time, the same technologies has to be used to ensure that we are providing safe things as well. Whenever we talk about the best technologies like bullet train, please try to understand that it is not only about the speed, but it also about the safety and security. Japan is a country which is known for its safety and security. These people respect the citizens a lot. India, unfortunately, has never spent much money in railways with respect to the safety. Fortunately, when Suresh Prabhu was there, he had actually proposed 1 lakh crore for the safety. But unfortunately, Indians, we don't try to look at any measure positively. We say that if you spend 1 lakh crore on safety, you say, why are you wasting money on that? Why do you need cleanliness? Why do you need a particular track? The problem which today's India is facing is, irrespective of the governments, we have actually lost the tendency to try to see whether something is good or whether something is bad. ISRO, when we were going to other countries to help, to ask them, to request them to launch our satellites, they used to laugh at us. What do you know? Why do you need satellites? During Kargil war, when we actually requested United States of America to provide us information, no one were interested. But today, we are launching their satellites. So the same criticism was there with ISRO as well. It's like foolishness. We hate triple talaq because it is brought by a certain government, and we praise Raja Ram Mohan Rai for fighting for women's issues. Please come out of this. Why I'm trying to say this is, even IAS officers or people who are preparing for IAS officers, your views are biased. Your answers are pathetic. Just you read a particular article and try to move by that article and try to say that this is useless. Your views are becoming bad day by day just because you don't like a particular government. Today, you may have a present government. Tomorrow, if the people of this country elect Rahul Gandhi and if you don't like him, you have to accept him. And if he does anything good for the nation, it has to be respected. So the problem is fair criticism when our citizens lack. Even if there is deaths, there are few people who praise the government. Even if there is nothing, few people try to show it is huge panic. Please don't try to be part of anything. Don't try to change your behavior along with this. It's true, then at the end of the day, we become market recipients. I am spending time here to talk about the behavior of the people, mainly because the same behavior is making students to write bad answers when we look at the weekly magazine series. Whenever even a little bit of controversial question is being posted, we see blunders committed by the students. They openly criticize conspiracy of China and Pakistan against India. The words are harming you. They will not give you marks. This is not the way you have to present. Be rational enough. Being an IAS officer, if you say no to a bullet train, guys, please remember, technology is very, very important for us. Without investing in technologies for future, patents in future, India will not be growing. It's true that statues are not required, but Taj Mahal, when it was constructed, was also considered to be a burden on the exchequer. It's only for the future generations which we usually leave. Religious things, avoid it. But culturally, if you are trying to do representations of our past, respect it because that will add to the future. But remember, it should not be against any culture. There is no one called minority in this country. It's only Indian citizen. Every person is Indian citizen and it should benefit every citizen. You go to any temple streets, wherever there is possibility, we usually observe different cultural people being present there as well. Why I'm saying this is, you are being influenced by the social media, and whatever comes in the social media, you try to take it on the face value. So just try to see, it is not about criticizing particular governments. It is the failure of our administrative system over a generation. So we have to be conscious whenever we criticize any particular governments. The next important issue is with respect to Nobel Prizes. So should we remember the names of these people? No need. Usually UPSC will not ask you. Usually whenever the application of these are more, and if it benefits us in science and technology, they may ask you the application like nanotechnology or something. What is the benefit of this can be asked, but nothing related to this. In medicine, it was given mainly for understanding the biological cycle of human beings, why exactly they wake up at a particular point of time. Every day, if they are sleeping at a particular time, how exactly they do it. And what is this biological cycle? Is it there only for human beings or is it there for animals? So this discovery got huge applause and they were also given Nobel Prize. The second important thing was with respect to gravitational waves. As I have explained in the previous magazine also, gravitational waves is very, very important. It is a blast which might have occurred somewhere at some point of time, and these waves will be traveling, and this has to be captured, and this is captured. Einstein first told this. Now we are capturing it. So this has become important for us. The next important thing is 3D printing or 3D imaging, which is actually the next generation, where biomolecules, if we can have 3D images, so we will be in a position to produce through stem cells or even through 3D images or 3D technology, if we can actually produce this and introduce in our body parts, then this can actually help in reducing the body parts sale in the world. There is a big mafia working which usually kidnaps these poor people and they try to sell their body parts, and this will be avoided. A nudge for behavioral economics, where he says that economists are all not rational and there can be irrational decisions as well, and how exactly irrational decisions will have impact in economy was actually spoken. And then you had a big push to disarmament by the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons. Prelims based question can come about this particular organization, where they may ask about the role and their significance, and this year giving Nobel Prize to them is very, very important, because two nuclear weapon countries, US and North Korea, is talking about waging war. In all these circumstances, this becomes important for us. And then a British novelist is given Nobel Prize for his notable works on literature. No need to remember all this. If it was Indian, we would have remembered it, else not required much. Whenever I speak about Manipur, I try to give you a simple picture of its geography. That is, usually Manipur has a valley where Meitei population is present, and it has mountains where Naga population is present. And you also have Kukis. And there is always a demand for creation of new districts on the basis of this ethnicity, both locally and also by the Naga tribes and Kuki tribes sometimes. But whenever the division tries to remove certain portions of the Naga inhabited areas or Kuki inhabited areas in the hilly regions, at that point of time, usually they try to block the national highway which passes through Manipur, that is National Highway 2. So to avoid this, what the government is doing, they are planning to have talks with Nagas. So once the talks are over, we try to understand, have they accepted for this, and if they accept, it's a victory for the government, because this will bring some sort of peace between Manipuris and the Nagas as well. Today, fortunately, the government which is in power shares some sort of power with the Nagas as well, so they feel more confident, and there is high possibility that they accept Indian government decisions as well. When I say Indian government decisions, I am talking about the separatist groups who feel they are not part. So Indian government means Manipur government also comes into picture. So at the end, I was actually talking about the bullet train technology, whether it is required or not. Japan is actually spending 1.5 lakh crore in giving this particular technology, but we call it concessional loan. That is, India may have to allow Japan to invest in some other place. What exactly is that is not clear. Now, the biggest thing that we have to understand here with respect to the bullet train is what are the advantages. One is we get the required technology. Second important thing is it will increase Make in India, where we may actually try to build other bullet trains and give it to other countries in future. And we will also get a technology which is environmentally benign, as it uses the technology which may not use depleting fossil fuels, and it has lower energy consumption with respect to others, so efficiency will be more and it will be much cheaper once we can achieve long distances. And then passenger carrying capacity is more than compared to the normal things, and the land required for it is also less. Apart from this, it will also help us in creating more jobs to our people. So all these makes bullet train a most significant project. So guys, after looking at all this, we are talking about minimum government and maximum governance in ethics paper. Please try to talk about this. So once the first batch of geography NCERT books are done, we will be allowing the second batch to join, and it will take only a difference of 15 days so that others can come and actually watch it simultaneously. So for that, if at all you want to register, please message me with your name and phone number. So we will be sending you the required link. We are just keeping a minimal amount for the maintenance of the website. So if you are interested, you can actually visit it, and you can also send us the message. So we will send the link whenever it is ready. By max, we will be able to finish off by next week, only if the work progresses, because you have Diwali holidays and people may not be working at that point of time. So if you can just avoid, by the last week of October, we will be providing you this at any cost, right? Thank you guys. Thanks for watching and happy Diwali.